Hope you guys are having a fantastic Monday. Going to be talking Resign and cuts. And we're only 460 subs away from 40,000. So hit that subscribe button if you like what you see. And I'm going to do a huge giveaway. Let's jump into this. What is up, fans? Yeah, we are 461 subscribers away from 40,000 subscribers. I'm not kidding you when I tell you, whether it's a jersey, like I'm talking authentic jersey or what, I'm doing a giveaway of 40K. I can't thank you guys enough. So if you like what you see, first watch the video. And if you like what you see, hit that subscribe button. I always tell you that. Don't hit it just because, hey, like the content, because that means you'll watch it. That means you'll continue to watch it and you'll enjoy what I do. If you don't, then don't hit the subscribe button. I don't want you to feel pressured into liking my content. But yes, in today's video, I'm going to talk about who the Dolphins should cut and who the Dolphins should re-sign. Now, I was thinking about doing one video of who the Dolphins should cut, and then another video for the Dolphins who they should re-sign. But the list of players that I think the Dolphins should move on from isn't long. It's 5. And I'm not going to dedicate a whole video to 5 players because that's about a 5-minute video. I'm going to talk about a minute each on each player. For one, they don't have many, people I'd move on from, and their free agent list is pretty long. So we're going to talk about that. And I'm going to jump into it instead of continuing to ramble. One last ramble. I'm really leaning towards live streaming the Super Bowl. Comment below if you would want me to live stream the Super Bowl. Comment below if I live stream the Super Bowl, you'll come and hang out. But yeah, I'm like really leaning towards live streaming the Super Bowl. So yeah, that's it. So let's jump into this. First, we're going to talk about the cuts, who I would move on from. And then talk about the re-signs. Now the cut side, right? I threw Cedric Wilson in there. It actually would make more sense cap-wise if they traded him. I think if they cut him, it's like 1 or 2 million. Let me get you. I want to make sure I get you the exact numbers. I don't want to go farting around throwing numbers out there, and you're like, Doug, that's not right. Unsubscribed. So before June 1st release is only $1 million savings, but before June 1st trade is $6 million savings. And then post June 1st, it's only $1 million more. So if they cut him after June 1st, it's $2 million savings. If they trade him after June 1st, it's a $7 million savings. Could that happen? Possibly. But I would prefer to do it before June 1st because I want those draft picks. And again, to me, I feel like you can get maybe a 4th or 5th from him, and we don't have a 4th or a 5th. So I would really like that. So I put him in that cut category because it's a $6 million savings if they trade him, and I can really see the Dolphins moving on from him. Put it out there, hey, we're interested in trading Cedric Wilson. Junior, what's your thoughts on that? And like the Cowboys, again, might want him back, or a team that's wide receiver hungry, like the Giants or something. You'd be like, sure, 4th. Give us a 4th, and we'll give you a 6th next year. All right, yeah, let's make the trade. So there's that. So he's a trade possibility. The next guy on my list, now I don't want to do this, but then I'm like, oh, that's a lot of money we would save. And that's Jerome Baker. Now, my thought process on releasing Jerome Baker is, does he fit the Vic Fangio scheme? And you're going to hear me talk about that now. And now we're getting in that realm where now when I'm talking about free agents, on the offensive side, we kind of know what scheme they're going to fit because we've seen it. But on the defensive side, some guys might not be coming back pending free agents, and some guys on the roster might be moved, whether trade or release, because they might not fit the Vic Fangio scheme. Because again, he doesn't blitz that much. And Jerome Baker, can he drop back into coverage? Can he do this? Can he do that? And that's where he kind of can become expendable. Now, if the Dolphins move on from him, that's a $4 million savings. If they do that after June 1st or post June 1st, that's a $9 million savings. So we'll add the number on. I'm not guaranteed it's going to happen. I wouldn't be surprised if they kept him. But again, that's a name. Don't be surprised if all of a sudden you're like, wow, they released Jerome Baker, or wow, they traded Jerome Baker. That's surprising. Not really. Again, you got to start. This defense is going to look different than the defense the last 3 years. So you need to start looking at players and thinking, are they going to fit the scheme that Vic Fangio runs? And if you want to know what that scheme is, go back and watch Friday's video. So, and then another name on this list, and this one shouldn't be surprising to you, Byron Jones, post-June 1st cut, savings of $13.6 million. He is going to be released. I'd be shocked out of my socks, which, yes, I am wearing socks, if he got traded. It'd be nice if he got traded, because then, we get something back, but post-June 1st cut, $13.6 million. Sathan Carter, these the next two are pennies. They don't mean anything. Keon Crossan, I had him on this list, but then I was like, I really like him on special teams, and I think the depth at corner will help. Plus, he's not costing much, so I'm not going to move on from him. But Sathan Carter, I feel like the Dolphins are probably going to revamp that tight end room, especially with, and I'll get to Mike Gesicki in a second, moving on. But Sathan Carter is only a $1.8 million savings, and again, pennies. And then the last guy I have on my list, and again, if I didn't throw him on there before, so he's another one that could be if he stays or not. This is Noah Benogany. It's a $1.1 million savings, but it's at this point, like, do you try to see if Vic Fangio can save Noah's career? Like, I'm ready to move on from Noah. I'm ready to move on from Austin Jackson. I've seen what I need to out of there. You look, and again, people are going to, there's the people that we know how they're going to react. You look at Tua, you look at Jackson, you look at Noah. Tua led the league in multiple categories, multiple passing categories, was an MVP candidate at the middle of the season. He has taken a huge jump this year. Unfortunately, the injuries and that slump on the West Coast hurt him. But other than that, he has progressed every year with Tua. Austin Jackson? No. Noah Benogany? No. Those two, I'm ready to move on. It's only $1.1 million savings, so we'll see if they move on from him. I don't know. But altogether, if they move on from Cedric Wilson in a trade, they cut Jerome Baker post-June 1st, they cut Byron Jones post-June 1st, and they move on for Stan Carter and Noah Benogany. That is a $31.5 million savings. So say the Dolphins just did that. Say they just moved on from those 5 players. We're sitting at negative 12. That's like we'd be sitting at, doing the math, 16 million in cap space. That's just the math off the top of my head. If you want to know how we can get a buttload, I don't know if you saw my arm make a weird movement. It's because my bad shoulder, so when I did that, really flipping hurt. If you want to see how we can get about 50 million in cap space, go search on the channel. So I talk about the cap space, and I talk about how we can move things and restructure and give contract extensions and this, and that. We can get about 50 million in cap space. Yes, go from negative 12 to 50 million plus in cap space. Go check that video out. I'll pin it. Go check it out. But now we get into who we should re-sign. And I'm just going to real quick just do a little beep. And these are the Dolphins free agents. And the reason I'm doing it this way, showing you, is because for me to run down the list of all these names would take so long. Now, Mike Gesicki's on the top of the list. Some guys want to re-sign him. Again, I'll reiterate the fact that Chris Greer in the end of the year press conference said that that Mike Gesicki earned the right to test free agency. Again, and I've talked about this ad nauseum. He's going to test free agency. Is there a possibility he comes back? Maybe. The likelihood of it is not very big, because he'll go out there, someone will give him a stupid contract, he'll come back to Miami, hey, they offered me this contract. Dolphins will be like, good for you, sign that contract, have a great career, we appreciate what you did for us. Fire con Dios. Because if you look at his market value, which again, spot tracking or market value, about 8.2 million average. That number's not bad. That's not a bad number. It was higher, but that's not a bad number. 8.2. I wouldn't hate that number. But Gesicki, I'm not re-signing. Teddy Bridgewater, I'm not re-signing. Eric Rowe is interesting to me, but I think the type of safeties we need, again, you're going to hear me say this a lot, Vic Fangio's defense needs that versatility, and he needs that type of safety that can play make the move to stop the run, but also make the move to drop back and into coverage. There are safeties play midfield more than in the box or down, deep. We need that athletic safety. Eric Rowe, I don't know if he fits that. Melvin Ingram, he did what he needed to do, but I don't see him coming back. First on the list, Nick Needham. I'm bringing back Nick Needham. He averaged here, you could see his 2022 average salary, give or take, was $3.9 million. That's about how, and again, when it comes to free agent numbers, like when I do my targets and now with the re-signing, when it comes to contract numbers, to me, I could literally say, I'll re-sign Nick Needham, like it means nothing. It's just nonsense coming out of my mouth. These are just players I want to re-sign, and when I talk about the targets, these are players I'd like the Dolphins to target. They can do the numbers. They can do the numbers. Me, on the other hand, I'll throw a number at you, like, he was averaging $3.9 million as an average of 2022. Sure, give him $3.9 million. I don't give a crap. All I'm saying is I'm re-signing Nick Needham. The linebacker core, I don't know if I'm bringing all these guys back. Our linebacking core wasn't great outside of Landon Roberts. Maybe I bring him back because he's a good run-stopping linebacker, and I'm really liking that. But outside of that, you might not hear me talk about a lot of linebackers I'm bringing back, which then again, you could be like, Doug, we don't have that many if you do that. I get that. But Eric Fisher, he's not coming back. Clayton Fedulum, for some reason, right? He's a free agent. But when you come here, he's kind of here, right? And we can cut him. You know what I'm saying? So I don't understand why he's a free agent. But I probably would bring back Clayton. These are guys that I'm bringing back at a low salary base because they are very good special teamers, right? Landon Roberts, I have a soft spot for Landon Roberts. Not in the pass coverage. His pass coverage, god-awful. But that man will knock you out of your socks if you try to run in his gap. Pause on that. So maybe bringing back a Landon to help with the run. But again, does he fit the Vic Fangio scheme? That's what you have to ask yourself. If you have, a favorite Dolphin that you might want to bring back, and again, Landon Roberts touch that, run stopping part of my heart. I don't know. Adam Shaheen, I'm not bringing back. Trey Flowers, I'm not bringing back. He was a nice try, but he never really played. Raheem Mostert, I'm bringing him back. He's running hard. Yes, he is 30. Give him a 2-year contract, give or take. He was averaging $2.1 million. Running backs aren't getting paid as crazy as they usually do, and he's not a top guy. He's not a Saquon, a Josh Jacobs. He's not a Pollard that are going to be getting fat money. I'll talk about them in free agent targets if I want one of them. But I'm bringing back Raheem Mostert. Give him like $2-3 million a year. Sign him to a 2-year contract, first year guaranteed. Greg Little, nope. Sam McGuavin disappeared. I loved Sam McGuavin to the point where I learned how to say his last name. I think that was 2019 or 2020, that training camp. You can go back and watch. I was praising Sam McGuavin, and then he disappears. He does that every year. Training camp, you're like, Sam McGuavin, and then he disappears. Not bringing back Sam McGuavin. I'd love to bring back Thomas Morstead, but he has put out some cryptic, tweets and pictures and this and that. Talk about he might be retiring. So you might want to go young at the punter position. If a spicy punter comes out like they did last year, I'm not going to bring up his name because of allegations. But if there's a nice one in the draft, you can go out and grab possibly. But I like Morstead. I wouldn't be against bringing him back. John Jenkins, I doubt they bring him back. Trent Sherfield, I would bring back Trent Sherfield. I think he fits the offense really well. I think when he got his targets, he did really well. He's averaging 1.187 million. He's 20. He's gonna be 27. Couldn't get the words out of my mouth. I'm bringing him back. Give him about $1 million, $2 million. Sign him to a 2-year contract. A lot of these guys I'm going to sign to a 2-year contract. First year, you get your money. Second year, you're on the contract. If you do well, we keep you. If not, we release you for nothing. Bring back Trent Sherfield. I really like the way he played. I really like how he fit. He was more of a piece. He was more of a third wide receiver than Cedric Wilson was. If you notice, it was a lot of Tyreek, Jalen, and Trent Sherfield as our top 3 receivers. I'm bringing them back. Justin Bethel did well. I didn't realize he was 32, going to be 33, but Justin Bethel did well. I don't know if I'm bringing him back. I want, we got a lot of corners coming back from injuries, Trill Williams, and, I'm bringing Nick Needham back. And we got a lot of guys coming back that are going to really help. I don't know if I'm bringing Justin Bethel back. Probably not. Jeff Wilson, I am bringing him back. He's going to be 28. Really like him. Really like the hard-nosed running style of him. He does fit this offense very well. I'm bringing him back. Again, probably about $2 million a year. Give him another 2-year contract. Again, I'm not... what's his market value? $2.9 million. Sure. I'm not a contract guy. I'm not going to tell you. Brandon Shell, I'm bringing him back. I know he's 30, going to be 31. I'm bringing him back. When he was put in at right tackle, he played very well. Was it great? No. But was it horrible? Absolutely not. He played very well. God forbid who we decide to go with at right tackle gets injured like we've been dealing with for the past 6 years, because it's been since 2016 we had a beefy offensive line. I'm bringing back Brandon Shell. Give him whatever minimum you're thinking about at the right tackle position. I'm bringing him back. Garon Christian, I didn't even know he was on the team. So I'm bringing him back. River Craycraft, I would like to bring him back. He's going to be 29. Again, he's another guy that I liked. He fit. I'm not giving him a big fat contract. It's just hey, you can go test free agency. You can go join someone for camp and then try to make the roster. Or you could stay here, continue to have your success because our playbook, yada, yada. I'm bringing River Craycraft back. Michael Dieter, guard / center. Same thing like Connor Williams. I like Dieter. But I am, if we can go out and get Munchak, like I said, one of the top offensive linemen, I'm looking at coaches. I'm looking at him and I'm saying, what do we do here? And you let me know. We need depth. And Dieter, I think he saw the field a little bit, but I'm revamping that offensive line. It hasn't been doing hot. This is Doug GM. This isn't Chris Greer GM. Obviously, we know Chris Greer GM, has his head up his butt when it comes to the offensive line. This is Doug GM. I'm moving on from Dieter because I'm revamping that offensive line. I'm getting more depth in there. I'm getting more athletic guys, more guys that are sustainable when it comes to playing throughout the season. So Michael Dieter, I'm not bringing back. Then we have Savon Ahmed. He is an RFA. Doug, what the flip does an RFA mean? That's right here. He's a restricted free agent, which means he's played 3 consecutive years. I think he was an undrafted free agent in 2020. We have the option to tender him. And what that means is we could throw a tender on him, whether it's a first-round tender, a second-round tender, an original draft tender. First-round tender means that if a team tries to sign him and we're like, hey, we're not going to match that, then he can go to that team. We get a first-round pick. Second-round tender, same thing. Second round. Original draft pick or original spot tender means where he was drafted. If the same scenario happens, we get that draft pick. He was an undrafted free agent. We're not going to do that. So I put a tender on him. I think there's a right to match tender that I'd probably put on him. But I'm tendering him. And it's about $2 million for the season. I'm tendering him. Same thing with Elijah Campbell. I like the way he played. I'm tendering him. They're not guaranteed and they don't stick, but I'm going to tender him. John Lovett, I don't know if I'm tendering him. Alec Ingold's doing really well. Maybe for camp I bring him back, but I'm not dealing with that. Andrew Van Ginkel, I'm re-signing him, probably to a $3 to $4 million deal a year. When he was on the field, he played really well, and I think he will do really well in Vic Fangio's defense. So I am bringing back Andrew Van Ginkel. Myles Gaskin, I like the way he played, but he gets his chances. He does well, but it's for some reason, every time we bring in a new coach or a new offensive coordinator or something, they just don't use him. And it's another scenario where I'm going to, add more and better pieces to it. So I'm probably not going to bring back Myles Gaskin. But that's what I got for you. Those are the guys I'm bringing back. Nick Needham, Raheem Mostert, Brandon Shell, Trent Sherfield, Jeff Wilson, River Craycraft, Elijah Campbell, and Savon Ahmed will get tendered, and Andrew Van Ginkel. So the re-signing won't be much. You give them bare minimum. You're looking at 4, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. You're looking at probably about $15 million to re-sign these guys, give or take. That's not bad. And we still have a buttload of money to get free agents. Then you have the draft, and That's not a bad move. In my, comment below. Let me know what you think. If I said I'd resign someone and you wouldn't, let me know why. And if I said I wouldn't and you would, let me know why. But again, you got to think about, and especially when you're looking at free agents, because that's another video that's coming up the closer we get to March 15th. When you look at free agents, you got to look at, they might be sexy out there, right? You might see a pass rush, you might see a corner, you might see a linebacker. Oh, they look real good. They're top in their position. You got to look at do they fit the Vic Fangio defense? That's what you got to look at. Same thing with the offense. You might look at offensive linemen. Oh, they're really good. Do they fit that zone run scheme? And the wide receivers, do they fit the scheme that we're running on offense? Those are the things you got to look at. But on that, I'll see you guys in the next video. I hope you enjoyed it. Hit that subscribe button if you did. Now's the time. Again, 461 away from 40K. But on that, I'll see you in the next one. Like usual, stay classy. FN's up.